I dare say, will there even be a thing called hip hop in the next 10 years? Do you greet these people?
No.
We don't do that. Yeah. That it also makes sense that there's no such thing. Okay. One other thing I saw it yesterday. There's a thing, I think J2 is coming back with Jericho returns.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know now if it's like work from, I remember Lights Out, the album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, by the way, I would think possibly Jericho's most hip hop and most powerful album. Also, given that I think at the time it was produced by Prolific Article,
Mm-hmm.
who, by the way, is also in Lights Out, the theme song. And again, if you go back and look at the time, the way that album was produced, the way it was written, for example, it was classic. That's my estimation, you know. So I'm curious to know, like, the Jericho returns. Is it like new sound? Is he bringing back the Jericho we know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of difficult for older artists in hip hop right now to come back with music, because especially ones that have had long layoffs, because the sound has moved on so much, and it's not just that the sound has moved on and you can just get onto a new type of beat. Is that the mindsets of people have changed? Is in that a certain type of artist sounds old on a new sound.
Yeah.
And people, it seems as if people are like, wait, this doesn't make sense in my head, because it's not just about like rapping, like what Eminem is doing right now.
Yeah.
Still one of the greatest rappers.
Yeah.
But people are like,
it's like a little disconnect.
Yeah,
I think for so long he's had the throne. I mean, and again, we are digressing a little bit from local hip hop, but like especially in Eminem's situation, for example, you again, lyrical mastermind.
Yes.
It's just like he seems to be connecting with the young people like that.
Yeah.
And ultimately also, it seems again, hip hop is one of those genres that you experiment in and attach. I mean, you look at guys like Reason, who was one of the hardest writers ever, and he transitioned into, I don't know if it's a house music type stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening with local hip hop as well, you know?
Yeah, I think definitely that's what's happening. I think going back before we move on, back to the Eminem case, is I think trying to keep up with the times, while still trying to appease to the older fans that he has, and it's difficult because the older fans.
It's either or, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really either or. Look, at the same time, you see the beauty with music, because obviously it's not stuck to one thing. What I do feel, and again, just with local music in context, is that there is much emphasis on serving the younger ones.
Yeah.
So you've got, like, I know now for a fact in Namibia, if you say, guys, we're gonna have an old school hip hop night, there are people that are gonna come out of the woodwork and are gonna be at that show. I mean, you could look at guys like Jonas Bumble, who's again one of the dopest MCs I know. This guy just reads news for NBC. You look at guys like Proclaim, for example. There is pockets of people that appreciate old school. That's why, for example, when Mark drops now, and Mark just dropped a thing, I think it's called what is the title of the video called? But it's on his Instagram now, and you look at the type of people that are responding. These are like people that we knew were in the industry when it was in its infancy, you know. So I think there's room for it. It's just that those people also are busy with other things. They are not as active. They are not as out there. But I also feel like at my age now, there's no way I can try and compete with these like 16 and 17-year-olds, because first of all, their language is very different. I've listened to a song here, bro, like a trap song, and I'm like, I'm trying to figure, what is he saying exactly? I'm not making fun of the music. It's just I genuinely don't understand.
And I think that's what the older artists have to wrestle with, is because it's not just about mumbling, right? It's not just about, okay, a lot of things. This music is so easy. I can just hop onto it on a trap beat and then just rap.
Not.
It's not. There's a technique to it. The newer artists do it that as a native kids is like, there's something, even though you might think, oh, the lyrics are not that great, this is probably like just like repetitive, but there is something to
Man, I was
different.
I was at a place. I think it was at Windhoek High School, and they started playing. I forgot the kid's name, but he's a local guy. And I kid you not, like this whole group of kids were singing along
Yeah.
to what I didn't even understand what they were saying. This guy was just like making sounds, bro. And these kids were like, "Yeah, this is hard." I'm like, okay. And now, in my estimation, I'm thinking, yeah, well, they're watering it down, but like that's the culture of music.
Yeah.
Music evolves anyway. But in the Namibian space, I think we still have there's like a weird push and pull factor. The older guys are still trying to exercise the old traditional manner of putting out music.
Mm-hmm.
Drop your song, go to NASCAR, go to a radio station, get interviews, work out posters, launch. These new kids are doing it differently. They just want to get their 200,000 streams on Spotify, and that's that. And again, the mistake we make, these kids also have their own audience, bro. I mean, I know dudes here that would drop a song, dope lyrics, only 100 views after 2 months.
Yeah.
I know another trap kid here in Namibia that could drop something now in 4 hours time is by 2,500 views.
Yeah.
It's like, where does he get these kids from?
I mean, they know how. Like the vibe. They call it the vibe. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound like an old dude because I'm not. The vibe is what's missing. I think hip hop has always recycled itself, or like it's always went in a loop. Like when it was first coming out, like when the NWA didn't start with hip hop, but when NWA first came out, right, it was so different. Back then, the older guys before that was like, what is going on? But it resonated with people because it dealt with the times that people were dealing with.
Yeah, true. And
So,
it spoke to the people, it spoke to their issues at the time.
Yeah.
But I think that is also just the nature of hip hop, okay?
Yeah.
The guys who did it 30 years ago, those that come 30 years after, the people who started would be like, yeah, what are these kids doing? And so it goes.
Yeah.
These trap artists now, in the next 10 years, they will not understand.
Yeah.
I
Maybe something-
dare say, will there even be a thing called hip hop in the next 10 years?
I think so. I think there will be hip hop. I think it will look different than what it was because it has always changed.
Yeah.
Right? It's always changing. I think the trap sound right now it's at its last legs. Like it's gonna evolve into something else. It's
But do
gonna
you think we
become
are
something
reinventing a wheel here? Is it not? Don't you feel like maybe the art of lyricism is coming back?
No.
People are still not at all.
No, I don't think it's about lyricism anymore. I think it's about vibe. I
Yeah.
think what's gonna happen right now is right now, if you look at music in general, what everybody's pushing right now is African music.
Yeah.
Like the Amapiano and Afrobeats.
So it's
I think
gonna be a
gonna
fusion now.
I think it's gonna incorporate a bit of that, and then it's gonna move into that. And I think I watched an interview by one of the South African guys who was on a Kendrick Lamar album for Black Panther.
Oh yeah.
Right? So that guy, he called Kendrick and he was like, he was conflicted about how he should approach the song. Should he rap in his language or should he rap in English? Because he was like, I don't know.
Oh,
I
I
want
see.
everybody to understand what I'm saying, but then this is how I've always rapped. And then Kendrick told him, I called you because of how you do your music. Like this is for your own style, right?
Yeah.
So if you come and rap
In English.
like me, then
What was the
you
point?
don't add anything to the track. Like I can get any other rapper from.
And you
from
know
the
what's
States.
happening now? Obviously, you can see that we are starting to import music. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a guy like I forgot his name, but he's got a song called "Sweet." What is it? Something vibes, man. Na 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 na. That guy.
I don't
Yes,
know.
sir, that's his name. And you see, hip hop is doing this little transition where it's even incorporating elements. You know what I mean? It might be like an actual hip hop, say trappy bit, but they would have like dance elements from another genre.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I think that sort of borrowing from each other works perfectly.
I think that's what it will do. I think, which is why what I've seen in the Namibian scene is that if you go back in history of Namibia,
Yeah.
the more Namibian it sounds, the more people like it, right? Like
What would that mean, bro? Like the more
the more Namibian, I would say, it's not only always in the sound. It's the presentation of the artist, how they present themselves, how they rap, like the imperfections of our our accents and stuff
yeah.
like that. People love that. Like people
So like ease.
It's not until you fall that you
No, this guy is not serious. He must wait. All right.
So I would
So
say
like ease or what?
I would say this name. You take Jericho, right?
Mm.
Respected, right?
Mm.
He has something about him that if you close your eyes and you put different rappers and they would rap,
You will know.
You will know this guy is from Namibia, right?
Mm.
And then you take someone like Cannibal or you take someone like different rappers who people like the ordinary, not the hip hop heads, like the ordinary Namibians
yeah.
gravitate towards. There is something about them. It can be their vernac, it can be the type of
Delivery.
music they
Yeah.
choose, it can be their delivery that people always gravitate towards.
But isn't that also the fading out now because there's a need to sound the same. Like if I listen to Jericho, I know this is Jericho. If I listen to DJ, I would know this is DJ.
I wouldn't say that that's the case. I wouldn't say it's because of like them sounding the same. I think there is a difference between like the accents, and then there's a difference between the style of music.
Yeah.
Right? So I think the style of music is samey because people are doing the same type of music because
Yeah,
they say,
okay, I
this is popping right now, and it's not only in hip hop, it's everywhere. It's like
everywhere. Yeah.
there was a time where like in movies there was like this teen dystopian movies that are always coming out like
Yeah.
Divergent and what was the other one?
Maze.
Maze Runner, the same stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then people were going to that. I think with hip hop is also the same, and the problem that hip hop is facing, even internationally, is that's the same problem that we're facing right now. Is like, what's the variety? The variety is mostly found in the underground, where you find a lot of guys that are doing different type of things. But at the top, it's mostly the same. Like if albums are coming out right now,
yeah,
you always find the same features. This guy is featuring this guy. A new album.
Is there potential then that the underground could, because underground has been underground since I was born, bro. Like, do they intend to just be underground, or is there a time that that's gonna surface as well? Because while you were mentioning that, I found I was listening to a guy called Aesop Rock, not ASAP Rocky, which I kind of feel like maybe that guy took his name. It's a guy called Aesop Rock. If you listen to him, right, like he phenomenal. Like his work is tough to listen to and ponder. You're like, why would you say it this way? That dude, I mean, I thought it was a black guy. Not at all. This is some Caucasian dude just doing his thing. Great music. But you would have to go deliberately to the dark web of hip hop to go find him.
Yeah. And hip hop used to be in its entirety underground. Like hip hop was not mainstream when it first started.
Yeah.
And that allowed it to be diverse in itself. Like you had people who were doing things like, if you want to a certain vibe or a certain energy of music, you go to this guy.
Yeah.
Or if you want a certain chill type of song, you go to this guy. But now it's like
everything
is the same.
Yeah.
But this is only at the top. And I think that's what Namibia is lacking, is that we don't have an underground. We have the top. That's like, let's all of us try to rap like this, like the top, like the mainstream.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Right? And then there's few artists that are on the underground where they have different styles towards it.
Yeah, because I think they're also experimenting from a safe space, because maybe the aim is not so much the mainstream or the commercial approach. And again, I'm bringing Mark Moshiva back because I've seen him sort of do that. He just puts out like from Turbo Simulation to his old work, like, and this is work I think even before the Black Vulcanite album work, like I Hope They're Right. I think I think he just puts out work because, again, he's just a hip hop enthusiast.
Yeah.
And so he's gotten the privilege to try out stuff, and that's why when he drops his impact, it's not in the thousands per se, but it's because
you know what you're getting when you get there. Right?
Yes,
like you know what you're getting. Like you are getting value. Like you are getting something unique. You are getting conscious, right?
Yeah,
you are getting it's different because he's into what do you call it? Neo.
Afrofuturism
Yes,
stuff. You know what I
futurism
mean?
stuff,
Yeah,
like
robotics
and stuff like
So
that.
you know
Which is
he's
unique.
infusing.
Like
Of course.
it makes an artist like that unique.
Yeah.
But then now, currently, what's popping right now in Namibian hip hop is these kids that call themselves Wolfpack. They took
Trap,
drill music
drill
and added with Damara.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now I'm thinking, why do people like this, right?
The
And I'm thinking,
language,
okay, drill is aggressive.
Yeah, of course.
The language to many people sounds aggressive.
Yeah.
You put the two together, you have something that's like a lot of energy that people can be like, whoa, okay, this sounds unique to the ear. It's different from everything else that I've heard before, and maybe that's what.
And these kids are.
why people
I
like
won't
it.
lie, man. It's like I don't know who is producing their work, but
They're actually good.
they're actually good.
They're
That's
actually
the problem. It's like there's nothing else to say here. The
Like-
fact is that these kids
Yeah.
are actually good, and it's when the visuals came out, the visuals didn't match the because like when I first heard the track and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be some dope video maybe. It's like
No.
I was like, these are just kids from like Rehoboth Block.
That's
P
what
or
I
some
like.
sort.
That's what I like about the video.
Yeah.
Because there's one video where they slaughter the goat
Are you for real?
in the music video.
That's dope, man. And these are young guys as well, so I wonder, right? And I'm thinking, one, they must have a really big drill influence, or
They're
not
of the times.
They're of the times.
And
Yes, but
drill is
like,
currently popping.
and
so-
guys, let's be very fair, man. Like drill is one of those. Is a very difficult genre to like. Those beats. It's not like how trap is. Drill is very.
you cannot turn it into pop music.
You can.
The reason why it's because it's more than just music. It's a lifestyle, right? It's an element of danger, right? So when a drill artist says, "I'm gonna whatever
Yeah.
accent that they're using, I'm gonna do this,
Yeah,
this,"
Mandan
right?
thing, yeah.
Yes, it's that it brings that energy with it, and I think like the guys are killing a goat.
It speaks to drill, bro.
Come on.
And again, so
and the things that they're rapping, like if you understand what they're rapping about,
Yeah.
right? Some of the things are dangerous stuff. Some
Yeah.
of the things are dangerous stuff.
But that's the beauty. We don't even need to know what they're saying.
Yes.
You see, the interest there is the fact that there's an extemporaneous delivery there.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? You don't know what they're saying. You just know this is effortless.
Yeah.
The way they're doing it, and they're young too.
Yeah.
You
and
see?
it also proves a point that, like, in most Namibian hip hop, it's like we have not pushed our local languages to the extreme, the way we have with
Yeah, I
English.
see what you mean.
Like when you write bars in English, you're like, okay, how can I twist my English to fit what I'm trying to say in a clever, in a like double entendres and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But we have not done that with our local languages as much. Like there
Yeah.
are some guys that you like Vanek, like Conja, like whoa, that guy
Yeah,
can
no, of
rap.
course, yeah.
But then I don't think that has happened with like other languages where somebody has taken them and like twisted them in a clever way.
Yeah.
And I think when people hear a bit of that, they're like, whoa, I've not heard this before.
Yeah. I don't need to know what they're saying. It's just that it's.
And I mean,
yeah.
if you take that, right, and then you like present it on the world stage, I think people will be like, whoa, I've never heard. I know it's drill, it's familiar.
The sound
but-
is familiar.
but the sound is familiar, but you're
yeah.
adding clicks to this? Like, whoa, what are you doing?
I think those
This
kids
is-
have
I like
potential,
this.
man.
No?
What I think the one of the problems with the Namibian local, the hip hop scene at least, is that there is a perceived arrival,
Yeah.
which is like very premature. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Franklin pops overnight and he has 25,000 views on a video, and that's it, because we don't. It's like there's an element that's missing of. And then what? What's the bigger picture?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've seen it happen with the dancing boy, for example.
Yeah.
It's just like it went viral. It's like, okay, but now what?
How do you
capitalize? Like, what are you?
like that famous Kanye West video, like Lady Gaga? How do you connect the product to?
Oh yeah.
He had a point, right?
Yeah, he
How
did.
do you connect? That's where it's lacking. It's like, okay,
Ah.
now we have the product. Here's
Yes.
the product. How do you connect that
To the
this-
audience.
To the audience.
Yeah, man.
And how do you make it consistent in that you to a point where audiences are now fighting for you, like those artists are with
But
diehard friends.
okay, that's a good point. But okay, so here's my other question then. Could something exist in a long-term sense if the thing was just a viral thing? You know what I mean? Like I don't think the guy who was dancing he's a dancer per se. It's just a fluke of the moment. Like it happened and it went viral. You can't recreate. It's like the thing goes krrrr.
Yeah. No, but one thing you should learn is like,
Yeah.
what Mr. Beast said, right?
Yeah.
Guy goes viral every time he posts a video. He said that there is a formula to it. It's not by chance, because at the end of the day, what makes you viral is obviously the uniqueness of the content, or the interesting nature of the content.
The content, yeah.
But also the algorithm, and the algorithm is the machine, and it has code coded.
It's coded,
yeah.
okay, I see.
So if you can understand the code, then you can manipulate the code to your advantage. So you can find a way to be okay. I think that's what artists should ask themselves. Like, why did this track resonate with people and not this one? And it's not always like in the sound. It could be other things that why. Or you could look at another artist and say, why is this guy getting this much support? Why? What is it about them that's like this? And a lot of times it's like, okay, I know I can rap better than this guy, right? I have better bars, and I probably have more quality, like in terms of production. But what is it about this person? What are they doing?
I see what you mean.
I'm not doing that, and it's not to replicate what they're doing, but it's also to understand the algorithm and the mindsets of the people.
Yeah.
To see, okay, maybe I should restructure my music, or maybe I should shorten my tracks, so that people
maybe I should put out quarterly. I think I was talking to DJ this one time, and we were talking about you've got way too many stuff.
Yeah.
You now need to scale back and take a look at seasonal uploads, or like it look like people need to know Thursday I must expect from Franklin. As opposed to just every day. I mean, even if it's good, at some point it's like it's too much. But there's no energy. And again, this is not us throwing a dig at the industry. I think it's important that what we're trying to do is extract from the industry. We've had the privilege to be in the industry, whether through radio, TV, or reviewing material. And so ideally what we want to do is also create a Namibian algorithm. I don't think people don't know us because we don't have great work. It's just because we're not picky anyways.
We don't understand our audience. I think that's the issue. Like, the people are there, and I mean they're there for the taking.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you go and watch music videos of other artists, you find a lot of Namibians in the conversation. Like when you watch podcast of Mac G, you find a lot of Namibians there. Obviously, these people want to watch podcast.
Exactly.
But how can we take those people and bring them back and say, okay, guys, we also have something going on here.
Yeah.
And it can be as quality as what's going on.
Those guys.
As those guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It's like you see a lot of people, artists that are popping off. Like, for example, Carlito is a manager.
Yeah.
Manages artists like Yes Sir and
Yeah.
Looks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now you ask the question, like, how does this guy get it right multiple times? Like, once I would understand, okay, maybe this is the once, but 2-3 times, like, what are you
What
doing?
is the formula?
What is
exactly? So
doing?
also that collaboration.
Yeah.
That I think we've got great art. It's not so much mimicry, but I think creatives do well together as opposed to individually, because we can create one thing and everybody can get a share off of that shared interest. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So this is what Untitled titled.
Untitled. Yeah. Don't listen to what we are saying.
Listen to what we are not saying. This was light work, by the way.
Light work,
We are about to start.